Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon, even though I've been doing this for quite a while already. So, once again, for this video folks, I'm going to be doing another superhero thing. Yep. Captain America Civil War, the third installment of this series for Captain America, and it's a part of the expanded universe that Marvel has been doing for quite some time already as well. So, like I said before, if I review one movie, I might as well review the others as well. And this video was originally done before, but of course, YouTube stupid ass copyright system got to it. So I'm technically redoing this review. Oh gee, thanks a lot. That's helpful. Anyway, as always, I do have the top of the plot already for this film, so let's get to it, shall we? So yeah. There's some civil unrest, folks, that's going on. So in some ways, it's hero against hero. So basically, what's going on in this film is that the adventurers they felt that these characters are becoming too powerful in a sense. So it comes up that the government must keep an eye on it. One side is okay with it, but the other side is not okay with it. The character of Captain America feels that that's against the law, you shouldn't be doing that, while Iron Man says he actually agrees with the government to keep an eye on them, to keep themselves in check, to keep more lives in safety, I guess you would say. So basically, with the many people fearing the action of superheroes, the government decides to push for the superhero registration, I guess you can say, to put more restrictions. So of course, when you think about it, this kind of thing happens, and the thing is that, as you can guess, this results in a division in the adventures, as I was mentioning before. Iron Man does stand with this act, claiming that the action must be kept in check, otherwise cities will continue to be destroyed. And but when you think about it, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you think about it because the cities of this getting destroyed, its destruction is not entirely their fault. Something, some things are inevitable. The villains of the story will continue to destroy stuff, but Captain America, he disagrees with this action. He doesn't want to do that. Captain America feels like that saving the world is daring enough, and they cannot rely on the government itself to protect the world entirely. They could be a part of it, of the government, but that doesn't necessarily mean they should agree on the fact they should allow it to control every aspect of their act. So I'm wondering over here, whatever happened to democracy? Shouldn't all of these characters have a say in this, in some sort of matter? So when you think about it, that would have made more of an effective story, rather than putting their own asses on the line and just some sort of conversation would be had for this kind of a thing to make some sort of deal, maybe a compromise here and two, maybe. And rather than just being forced, which ultimately led these two characters to fight, obviously. But in other words, I'm saying this is the word that comes to mind, folks. Yeah, this comes to mind. So when I think about it, none of this feels natural. It feels forced. It feels like it was done just for the sake of something like this to occur, for no other reason, just to have it to occur. So yeah, it really didn't feel natural like it should be, folks, for the story anyway. I know before anybody tells me, I know they're referring to the events that what happened in the first Avengers film and Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. I know that they're technically referring to that, and they don't want the same events to be repeated over and over and over again. Which again still doesn't make a whole lot of sense because some things are inevitable. The villains, the actual villains of the story, are the people who's causing the mass damage, not the heroes. And if the heroes do cause a lot of damage, it's usually unintentional, and they can't have a helping hand in that. Some things will happen, whether they like it or not. This kind of thing does occur. Yes, I know. Again, before anyone tells me, I know these events in these films are supposed to be playing right into the Adventures of Infinity War Parts 1 and 2, which doesn't have to be a bad thing, of course. They're trying to have some sort of consistency. And again, yes, I know, before anyone says it, And this film is trying to pave the way for some other films. So these events are supposed to be set in motion for the future movies as well. So yeah, there's a lot right in this in some ways. And and I also heard there's going to be, Blade, Punisher, and Ghost Rider that might be joining these characters in future films, along with the characters of the entire X-Men characters, of course, the cast of characters. So, yeah, that's a lot. Don't get me wrong, folks. I don't necessarily think this is the worst thing I've ever made. I've seen superhero films that were far, far worse than this. I'll tell you that right now. So, but one of the things that did annoy me as well is probably the audience. Oh boy, the audience just ate this movie up. Single greatest event of all time in film history. Like it was the second coming of Jesus or something. That's how it came off. Come on. Come on, folks. It was not that great of a film. I mean, it's not the worst, but it wasn't that great either. Merely because of the entire narrative just had a contrived setup in the beginning and then throughout the entire film. Thinking that Mass Effect Andromeda had a rather messy narrative in its beginning part, so this stuff's the same thing. Its setup seems all over the place, just to make it seem legit. So the conflict itself does not feel genuine at all. So okay, having superhero characters fighting each other might seem like a pretty great idea, which in itself it actually is. So that way, the comic book movies would have to, maybe acknowledge that the heroes and villains is not just black and white, me versus you, bad guy versus good guy. This kind of manner of storytelling could be used as a way to acknowledge that the world is more than what it seems. There are, ethnical gray areas, and the audience won't get sick of superhero films so quickly. Plus, multiple superheroes in the same film can be a pretty entertaining way in itself, too. For a good example here, folks. One time I do remember when I was going to the bar station for quite a while, where I actually found a lost wallet, which contained several $100s. And I ultimately kept the money to myself, but I did return the wallet to the bar station people. Sure, taking the money itself isn't exactly a good thing, but then at the same time, I didn't steal nobody's identity, I didn't take anybody's credit card, I just returned everything except the money itself. I kept the money. So that way there's more in the gray area, is what I'm saying. I know I'm a top secret agent. No one knows who I am anyway, so whatever. But that's kind of the point. That kind of a thing could have easily been explored in this movie, which I kind of felt it was like a missed opportunity. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we're hinting at anyway, so what the hell? The overall idea here is that in this film, it's supposed to be, security on superpowers, so to speak. Freedom versus security, and think of these issues being restored or being spoken apart in this kind of day. Like military invasion, immigration, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely a missed opportunity there, folks. It could have really done that kind of a thing. So of course, there's some questions that may arise. To what extent, people fear with the unfamiliar? If something powerful has some sort of small chance of being evil, should we put it in check? So, but a superhero, unfortunately, like this one, doesn't have much time for such topics. It really needs to put its precision, its hero, so that they can start punching and kicking each other. So, in other words, this is basically an action movie. I think at the end of the day, it's an action movie. It's attempting to speak about these things, but doesn't really spend much time on these things, is what I'm saying. So, if of main characters, if the superhero characters stop murdering each other, if they become executioners, and if they stop blackmailing each other, wouldn't that mean they cross the line and becoming the villain? So this kind of a thing could have easily been something they could have explored throughout the entire picture, which unfortunately they didn't. So that's the thing, folks. They could have easily done that kind of a thing as well, but they really did not. Of course, there's plenty of references from the TV show Agents of Shield. Yeah, this is supposed to be connected to the movies as well, folks. So as I was saying earlier, There's plenty of stuff going on in this film. Yet, there's quite a few things that don't get focused upon, like, at all. This film, Captain America Civil War, it does raise an interesting hypothetical scenario in some sense, because if superheroes did exist in the real world, which doesn't seem too much of a stretch because these films are actually attempting to have some sort of realism to some degree anyway. Should they be relegated by the United Nations, with Iron Man leading the group of yays, and then Captain America will be leading the ways of nays? So it's basically in a way of maybe this was the right way. No, maybe this was the right way. No, we should go up. No, we should go down. Maybe we should go right. Maybe we should go left. And I'm over here thinking that, like, wait a minute, wasn't Captain America supposed to be the first uh, Avenger here? Yet they want Iron Man to be the leader of the group instead. So who made him king? So again, there's no real sense of democracy in this, like, at all. It's like non-existent. And don't get me wrong, folks. I don't mind if comic book superheroes have sort of political debate with Congress and whatnot. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, by all means, go for it. I honestly don't mind them. If you want to do that kind of political stuff, sure, go for it. But the thing is that it's just a piss poor attempt at doing that kind of a thing. It just came off that Congress here, the government, is just scared. Therefore, they should break down certain barriers to not protect themselves. And Captain America saw that kind of a thing, and he thought that was wrong. We all should stand up and protect ourselves. Go into the thing that the villains want you to do. And again, Captain America saw that. Captain America saw that they're falling into what the villains of the story want you to do. So there's that. This is a civil war, folks. This comes off more of a civil war, South versus North kind of a thing. Yeah, I know this is almost kind of what they were referring to, but it doesn't feel like that at all. So how is it a civil war if it's just one small group versus another small group? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I don't necessarily hate this movie. I actually did quite enjoy it, despite my major complaints about this. You'd think that putting a hero against hero, especially these kinds of characters who seem to be evenly matched in some ways, would bring some sort of life to the age-old kind of a thing. Bring more emotional complexity. Um, so you might be thinking, okay, these films won't be less fun. They will be less campy, but more chaotic. So that'd be cool, I guess. But you could bring up the old-fashioned comic book superhero stuff from the 1930s and 40s. And yeah, give it the overall feel, but with a modern twist. You could have easily done that. But again, seems like a wasted opportunity. So I mean, there are some things I do like, folks. Because ultimately, when you think about it, the only thing you can be remembering this is all the action scenes. That's about it. Not the deep storytelling, nothing else. There's nothing else you can really remember at all aside from the action sequences. That's like the only thing you're gonna really remember from this film. All these just the action, fight, 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 battle, battle, battle. That's all you're gonna really remember, really. Explosions, chaoticness. That's all you really remember. This film does attempt to be more deeper than it's trying to be, but again, doesn't really address anything. I guess for what it's worth, the action sequences are, nicely done. They're really well choreographed. They're well edited. The music is serviceable, and the edit isn't too bad. The acting is solid. Nobody's gonna win any awards for best, actress or best actor or whatever. But again, for what it's worth, they done some things right. Even though I felt like they could have done a lot better with certain elements of the plot. So yes, there's plenty of characters, there's plenty of superheroes on screen, which is pretty good. You see Spider-Man finally making into the universe here, folks, and whatnot. So overall, it's a solid movie, even though I think it's really overrated, if you ask me. I don't hate it or anything. I do quite enjoy it. I do watch it from time to time if I'm bored. So anyway, Captain America Civil War gets an overall rating of a 6.010. It gets a 6.010, mostly because of the entertainment value, really. And maybe given that's too high, but anyway, as always, Thanks for watching and take care. Until next time. Oh yeah.